In today's video, I am going to be comparing Jalen Green to James Harden. In my opinion, they are actually quite similar players. So let's get down and let's check out Jalen Green versus James Harden. So in this first clip, we see James Harden using his handles to get his defender off balance so that he can attack that rim. In this next clip, we see that James Harden is again using his dribbles, but in this case, to create space, gets his opponent off balance down onto his heels, as we see here, his back foot's down on his heel, which then allows James Harden to take a quick step back for his three-point shot. Again, even in a slightly fast break type of style, we see that James Harden gets super low, uses his handles to get his defender off balance, and then he's able to then fly right past them and then finish with contact around the rim. Meanwhile, we see something very similar when it comes to Jalen Green. He's able to use his handles to his advantage, gets his defender back onto his heels so that he can rise up for a three-point shot. Meanwhile, with Jalen Green, he attacks that top foot of the player who is defending him, and then he is able to use ball fakes to be able to create space, gets his defender up into the air so that he can create shot opportunities for himself. And this all started by attacking that top foot, so that when he attacks that top foot, it then gets that back foot down onto the ground for his defender, in which case he attacks that top foot one more time, and when he does that, he then does a quick jump stop beside the key, uses a ball fake, turns back around, and then he's able to rise up for that mid-range shot. Meanwhile, with James Harden, he's able to shoot from pretty much anywhere on the court. He can shoot from deeper than NBA range. And we also see with James Harden his ability to do quick jab dribbles for a quick step back into a three-point shot. James Harden can also step in for a shot as well. Very simple shots, wide open. Meanwhile, with Jalen Green, he can shoot the three as well, but when he receives that ball and he's got a defender on him, he takes a second to create that space. That defender thinks that he's about to drive towards the rim because, of course, we know that Jalen Green is a massive slashing player, and because of that, he gets enough room to go up for a shot. The nice thing with Jalen Green is he doesn't just sit on the three-point line, he will shoot mid-range shots as well while using screens. We do see this with James Harden. I just couldn't find any highlights for some reason. Now, when it comes to driving, we can see that James Harden is very good at using that screen and then getting to the rim using a Euro step around the help defender. Meanwhile, with Jalen Green, what we will see is ability to attack that top foot, attack that rim, and use his strength and verticality to his advantage to get to the rim. So what he does is he uses his body to push off Nico Mannion towards that baseline. He then has a help side defender coming up to try and block his shot. He goes basically an up and under around that player because of his ability to jump so high. Now, while James Harden will use more footwork to get around players, we'll see with Jalen Green, which wants me to really compare his ability to drive to Vince Carter, to attack that rim, and instead of using footwork, he uses his ability to jump to get around players. He would rather get up into the air, do a quick up and under around two players in this case, to get to the rim. Again, attacking the rim, goes right, left, really plants his heel first onto his toes then, and then plants his left foot toes down so that he can sky up. And I'm going to tell you right now, because we see that most players will not try to go up for a block on somebody who's going up for a dunk because they don't want to be postered, that does set Jalen Green apart, because now when he skies up for a layup or a dunk, not many players are going to go up and contest that. Now, meanwhile, players like James Harden can really set some really cool passes, for example, that one through the legs, to a player who had momentum going towards the rim. So here we have a pin down screen and a dribble handoff for James Harden. Once he gets that dribble handoff, he then attacks the rim and notices that there's two players who are open in this case. We essentially have Luka Doncic, who is guarding two players. And because of that, we see James Harden look this way, which pulls Luka Doncic up higher and leaves their center wide open for that big dunk. Again, with James Harden, his ability ability to pass to the screen and roll player is extremely high level. Meanwhile, we'll see the same style with Jalen Green, who can use that screen and roll, draws that help defender or that hedging player up and dishes it off to the rolling player, who can then of course finish around the rim. We can also see creative passes by Jalen Green to other players in the fast break, like for example this one with the behind the back pass to Kuminga. This all started because he drew that defender towards him in that 2-on-1 situation, and of course nobody's going to stop a dunk like that. So in reality, Jalen Green, in my opinion, is actually a combination of two players. His shooting ability and passing ability are very similar to James Harden. Meanwhile, his ability to drive and dunk, and maybe not his ability for footwork when it comes to the drive, but when it comes to the drive, he is more like Vince Carter back in the earlier days of Vinsanity. I hope that this video has helped you become a better basketball player and also understand Jalen Green a bit more. I personally think that Jalen Green should be the first overall pick, but I really do hope that he slips to the 4th spot so that the Raptors can pick him up. Anyways, I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.